This is the Rebluum wireless camera doorbell. Now, as someone who's been using the Google Home Doorbell for quite some time, when I was asked to review this product from Rebluum, I was really curious if this $80 smart doorbell would be able to compete with the far more expensive one from the likes of Google. So today I'm going to tell you all about it and what this guy can do. So first of all, there are some major differences that are going to potentially detract you from wanting to buy a smart doorbell like this one compared to something like the Google doorbell. The key breakdown obviously is this is compatible with the Alexa ecosystem versus the Google one, which will work with the Google ecosystem. Now, I have Google Home products, so I'm very invested in that Google ecosystem. However, if you're looking for a budget offering, this might be the one for you. So first off, let's talk about what comes in the box with this smart doorbell, because there are some key differences between what comes with this guy versus what comes with the Google, and not in the way that you might expect. So in the box with the Rebluum doorbell, of course, in addition to the video doorbell itself, you're getting all of the components required to install it, and you're also getting a chime with batteries. The more expensive offering from Google does not include a chime in the box, so you need a Google Home to pair to if you want to start using it right away. It also includes a Type-C USB charging cable and all of the paperwork, of course, in how to get started. It's pretty straightforward to set up, much like the Google doorbell. Follow the instructions, scan a QR code, install the app, create an account, sign in, all that good stuff. Setup was very easy. I was up and running in about 5 minutes, not counting the mounting process. Now, I apologize for not filming the install process, but needless to say, to compare these properly and see the quality differences between them, I mounted them side by side on my front porch. So let me tell you about how they performed. So first, let me tell you about the Google Nest doorbell that I've been using for a couple of years now. The Google doorbell has a 1.3 megapixel color sensor, which puts out a 3:4 aspect ratio. It has a 145-degree diagonal field of view and records up to 30 FPS at a 960 by 1280 pixel aspect ratio. So your videos come out like this. They are tall. Essentially, think shareable immediately to Instagram when you export them. That's how Google's decided to do their recording. The Rebluum is a little bit different. So the Rebluum doorbell camera has a 3 megapixel sensor on it with a 160-degree field of view, and it records in a 4:3 aspect ratio, so it's more squared. It claims it's recording in a 2K HD quality, and just like the Google doorbell does, it has a low light nighttime view mode to ensure you can still see in the dark when you're getting packages delivered, that sort of thing. So that's the specs on paper, but how did they actually perform in real world use? So I'm gonna show the sample footage from these doorbells side by side and one at a time as I talk about them, and that way not only can you view them individually, but you can also compare and contrast on the same screen and really understand exactly what I'm talking about. So let's start with the Google doorbell. So footage coming out of the Nest doorbell is good. It's perfectly acceptable. You can make out all the details that you need to be able to see. It's not ultra high definition by any mean, but you can clearly see the entire porch. You can make out the details on the phone, the time. You can see my wallpaper, which is my dog's paw. You can see everything in one place. It's quite tall, but for use on a phone, which is where you're typically viewing these video feeds anyway, it's perfectly acceptable. Pretty much everything in the foreground area, the porch area, is in focus the entire clip. The background with the tree moving in the wind, it's a little blurry, a little choppy, but honestly, that's kind of superfluous and unnecessary. And with such a small sensor, completely understandable why this wouldn't be Ultra HD throughout the entire clip. For general purpose, this would be perfectly fine. Now let's switch over to the Rebluum and let's talk about that. First glance, as soon as this feed fires up, everything is extremely crisp. It is a very different field of view, so you'd probably have to play with the angle that you install this doorbell at a little bit to ensure you're seeing everything that you need to be able to see, but everything is very clear. The color is actually nicer, in my opinion, than the Google doorbell. You can see the detail on the brick and the color of the brick a lot better than you can on the Nest doorbell. And you can, again, see the wood graining, and even some of those background details like the plants and the tree are more in focus initially. However, once some motion starts coming into the frame, when I put my hand and my phone in front of the camera and it triggers the motion, the detail kind of kicks out. It immediately sort of switches to a grainier view. Now, interestingly enough, I did a couple more tests with the Rebluum just to make sure that there wasn't something weird going on. I was able to get a higher quality recording to come through. Maybe it's due to the limitation of network banding on this camera, but I was able to get a couple more recordings in where the quality was better. So I'm going to show you the second recording here in comparison with the Google, so you can more fairly compare and contrast the two recording clips and the two qualities of these cameras. But that brings me to the limitations of this more cost-effective doorbell versus the more expensive ones from Nest or Ring or any of those other companies. The Rebluum operates only on the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, which is limiting both from a router perspective and a capability and reach perspective. Whereas the Google will work on a 2.4 gigahertz and the 5 gigahertz banding, which means in most cases, you're gonna be able to get a longer connection distance and you're gonna get more consistent network connection and connectivity. I think what was happening when I was doing my test recordings initially with the Rebluum is the signal was weaker because on that 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, it has a harder time going through walls, which there's a few between where my router is and where my porch is, unlike the Google, which is more consistent on that 5 gigahertz connectivity. But really, other than the network frequency band that the Rebluum can connect to, I actually think the Rebluum is a better device for your money. It's a better value proposition. Let me tell you why I think so. First, as I already mentioned, it includes that chime in the box. Google does not have a chime in the box. So the Google immediately becomes more expensive because you're gonna need at least a Nest Home Mini to broadcast the Ring through when you use it, if you wanna actually hear the chime and not just get alerts on your phone. +1 to Rebluum. The Rebluum also doesn't make you use a subscription if you want to record your footage. Rebluum allows you to record to the cloud and play back your videos at any time and get your history updates on what's going on in the field of view of the camera at no cost. Google on the free tier will only let you get, I think it's 4 or 6 hours of footage and play it back, and then it's erased. So without paying for the membership, you don't have that historical feed like you do with the Rebluum. Again, a +1 for Rebluum. The Rebluum also has the ability to install an SD card. So if you don't want to record to the cloud, and you want to just record locally, you can do that as well. There is more flexibility and choice in this product, which is a quarter of the price than in the Nest doorbell and other comparable ones. So that's another +1 in my mind to the Rebluum. And even without the subscription, with it being totally free to use, it has all of the same tracking capabilities and recognition capabilities of these other doorbell products. It can track cars, pets, packages. It has motion zones that you can set up in the app, totally configurable, so you can track particular locations on your porch or field of view for activity and then trigger alerts based on that. And on a full charge, the Rebluum is going to get you up to 60 days of standby, which is pretty incredible. So all in all, what I think of the Rebluum camera, well, this is a very solid product for $79.99 Canadian dollars, which is like 65 US dollars. It's not as sexy and well built or thin as some of those other products from Google Nest or Ring, but it's a doorbell. Functionally, it's gonna do the job. And in a lot of ways, it does the job better than the more expensive alternatives out there. And it does it with no subscriptions and no added costs. Plus, with added flexibility to record on an SD card, it's kind of a no-brainer. If you're looking to get your smart home up and running and get connected with a smart doorbell, this is certainly the most cost-effective way I've seen so far to do it, and you're getting quite a lot of bang for your buck. Let me know what you guys think about the Rebluum doorbell down in the comments below. Thank you to the team at Rebluum for offering to send one of these over for me to test out here on the channel for you guys. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you again soon in the next one.